Hi there, welcome. It's Canvas, the Niger-Delta Roundtable. I discuss the future of the region blessed with resources, hydrocarbon, people especially. Every week, we give time to reflecting on topics relevant to the development of the Niger-Delta and her people, its most valuable resource. This episode, no different. I'm here and we're focusing once again on how we can collectively take this region to a more promising future. The podcast is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC, Renaissance Total Energies Active Joint Venture, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Thank you for joining. I'm Adedayo Elushakin. Topic for this episode is crypto and currency. Today we're stepping into one of the most debated and misunderstood topics of our time, crypto. Now, for some, cryptocurrency represents freedom, a new financial system beyond borders, control, and traditional banking. For others, it represents risk, volatility, uncertainty, scams, and speculation. Some see opportunity, others see danger. But beyond the headlines, beyond the hype, and beyond the fear lies a deeper question. What does crypto really mean for individuals, for economies, and the future of money, especially in places like Nigeria? That's what we're unpacking today. Again, a topic for Canvas is crypto and currency. My guest is Chinonso Godswill Chijioke. Chinonso Chijioke, also known as Nonso Cupid, is a business development professional and serial entrepreneur. He's the founder of Cupid Technologies, where he builds tech and AI powered solutions aimed at making businesses simpler and more efficient. With a background in product strategy, he has developed platforms like MoneyCar, a beginner friendly crypto exchange, and Block AI, a WhatsApp based tool that enables seamless crypto transactions, known for turning bold ideas into practical solutions. Nonso focuses on using technology to solve real world problems and unlock new possibilities. Chinonso Chijoke, hi, welcome to Canvas, the
Thank
Niger-Delta
you.
Roundtable.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you here, Chinonso.
Yeah.
I've taken time to discuss, this matter, uh, and others related to it on the podcast because just like the intro,
Yeah.
it's a very controversial subject,
Yeah.
but as we're discussing before we started recording, amongst other things, was Donald a while ago, in and I'd like to sound like Agent Smith in the Matrix here. It's inevitable
Yeah.
as certain other things are. Artificial intelligence, technologies, you can't stop it. It's best to understand it, get with the program,
Mm.
and even utilize it as well.
True.
And so I'm glad that you're here with your vast experience and knowledge in the subject matter. And I'm certain we're going to have quite a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Great, great. Everyone's into smart tech these days. I can see you wearing your AI glasses as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. The military one glass.
Uh, what does that help you do really, besides looking snazzy and all of that?
Okay. So for me, the glasses they basically help me in content creation. Because I myself am a shy person in public, right? I don't enjoy taking my hands up and making the video, but I'm trying to get that done now because I'm trying to put myself out there the more. But the glasses help me have a recording a real life recording of what's happening around me without, putting my phone up. I'm immersing myself in the experience, but at the same time, I'm having like to record what I'm experiencing. Right. So you know what they say, live in the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm living in the moment and also making a record of the moment at the same time. So that's basically what it does.
Are you concerned about things like privacy? Because I remember watching something online recently, just popped up on my timeline, and people are complaining. There was some kind of a satirical skit that was made, I think, by some American people channel, and it was something about AI glasses
Yeah.
and privacy intrusion because People are being recorded in public. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, actually, once it comes to technology, like we have been saying, it's not just about the tools, about the people handling the tool, right? And most of these businesses who build these technologies, I want you to also understand that most of these technologies are research that are being made, military grade research actually, right? That are being made and then put into our hands to see how we use them. So how we use them and get comfortable with them, they're like backdoors to them, right? So the listening of our conversations is a thing that we can't escape from. Because why? Number one, most of these companies who develop these softwares, who develop these hardwares, who develop these technologies, they spend money in developing them, right? And in as much as they spend money, it is capitalism. So they need a way to get the money back. And how do they get the money back? By maximizing what the product can do. And how do they maximize what the product can do? Number one is by listening to your conversation. So there's one saying that I go by that if the product is free, then you are the product,
Mm.
right? So now they made these technologies easy and convenient for us, and then we become the product to give them profit. So now they listen to our conversation, so they know when we want things, right? They use them for adverts. You see yourself accepting cookies on websites, and then they use it in tracking your conversation. So that is somebody tracking your digital footprints already, know the places you've gone to and the rest of them, right? Then for the glasses, they can listen to your conversations as well. That is why some of the times you can have these conversations. Your phone might be somewhere in the other room, and then you have your headset on, and you might be having a conversation with your friend around, like glasses or spoons, whatever. And then in your timeline, you start seeing those things. So that is how they make money. So they make money from listening to your thoughts, right? So when they listen to them, they then know what to give to you because you would never know what someone wants unless they say it because they don't read minds, right? But off of conversations, you can use the algorithm to predict what this person might want. So that is why someone on Amazon, you might just buy a footwear today, and then over the time on Amazon, they start, referring to newer footwears or a new technology that came around footwears. You understand? Just trying to predict your next move, and then you falling into it to give them profit. That is,
I used to find that real spooky sometimes, but I mean, it's commonplace now how that, even without headsets on, I mean, you're holding your device, your phone,
yeah,
or whatever other mobile device, a tablet or whatever it is, and you're having a conversation with someone. I mean, you didn't search for that thing.
yeah.
You're just having a conversation, or it could even be a phone conversation,
Mhm.
and you end that call, and then you go back to your device, and then an advert just pops up on what the conversation you just had with someone right now.
Yeah,
It's a bit real spooky, but like I said, I think it's now pretty much commonplace. It doesn't spook as much any longer.
yeah.
But let's get to the focus of
So the
today's discussion: crypto and currency. Maybe the most obvious first question: what is crypto?
hmm. I mean, that's the initial thing you need to understand before actually delving deep into it. So so cryptocurrency, um, this is basically a type of currency, right? So you won't understand crypto if you don't understand currency. So what is currency? Currency is just basically a medium of exchange, right? A medium exchange of value, right? So I find what you're doing for me valuable. I have fiat to give to you, which is our Naira, USD, and the rest of them, right? So the money that I'm giving to you is a representation of the value that I feel you are giving to me. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency is a currency that is being built around cryptography. So that is where it got its name from, right? Cryptocurrency is a technology that is being that is designed, you understand, and kept secured using cryptography. So it's a decentralized um, currency, right? So, like the traditional currency, which we know that is situated at a bank and is being controlled by the central bank. So that is a centralized form of currency, the naira that we use, right? So if the government over there they give an order, so the order affects every other bank because all these banks they need to stay compliant. So what happens to crypto? Crypto is basically, especially Bitcoin, is basically a peer-to-peer kind of exchange of value because now it's now more of either of us agreeing on the naira that will find it valuable to make our exchanges on. We are then agreeing that, oh, this Bitcoin is valuable. I find it valuable because of it is secured. It has like a secure technology that can't be tampered with. So I can accept to give you this and then you give me the value. And later in the future, if you need a service from me, I can accept the cryptocurrency from you and then get value. So it is basically a digital medium of value exchange. That is what it is.
Now, you used the word value repeatedly in your explanation just now, and in describing traditional currency and exchange for value. We talk about how central banks and governments pretty much determine that,
Yeah.
whether directly or indirectly, by
Mhm.
actions and or
Inactions,
inactions.
yes.
However, even though not traditionally regulated, crypto does move in terms of value as well. So who or what determines the value of crypto?
Okay, so there's what they call market capitalization, right? So let me numb it down to the traditional side of things so the people can understand. So let's say a stock, for an example, right? So when the price of a stock goes up, you've seen that the company that is being said has done some form of increment in revenue, right? So they are either having much more market share or adding much more value into the business. So possibly they're getting much more customers or they are getting into like a new product line or something. So it affects the stock price, right? At the same time, when a bad news hits a company, and then there's like bad PR around that company, you see people withdrawing their money off of it, right? So all these things are based off of the confidence the individuals they have in the business. So if you trust the business enough, you'd want to put your money into it. And at the same time, that increases the revenue of the business and at the same time affects the stock price of the business. So if there's a bad PR around the business, you want to take your money off of it and then it affects the stock price of the business. So in cryptocurrency, since it's about trust, right? So even in the cryptocurrency world, they have, they have greed fear indexes. So these greed fear indexes is when people are buying and people are selling, and that affects the market capitalization of the cryptocurrency, which in turn affects the price of it. So that is why it seems volatile, right? So let's say for an example, when COVID happened, right? So most persons they just saw that the economy is now frozen, so there's no way that I can even move money because banks were even adding restrictive measures, right? So one of the ways they could make these things happen is getting into crypto. And if you look at then, that was when the price surged. Because why? A lot of persons were then believing in it enough to then go into it, to then buy it, to then use it to exchange value. Because I mean, the banks were not open, so the medium of moving money was like really, really difficult, right? So since they then believed in it, the price of it went up because of there were a lot of persons going into it. Because, like I said, the trust is there, so it goes up. So when there's a market manipulation and then people are starting to lose trust, it goes down. That's basically what it is.
How does one? I mean, uh, as far as traditional currency goes,
Yeah.
I mean, we all know, everyone knows, I suppose, even a child knows how you get money.
Yeah.
Maybe for a child, if there's a certain visitor or uncle that comes to the house, and you know when he's leaving, he always drops a few notes of mint.
Yeah.
So you're always happy when the uncle comes to the
Yeah.
house, you know.
Yeah.
Even though mommy will always say she will keep it for you.
You know what's being played?
What's in law?
Yeah, very good. Yes, it happened this morning in my presence with my sister. Took the money that I gave to the little cousin.
Okay, great. So as you grow older, you start working.
Yeah.
You earn a salary or you earn a wage, or
Yeah.
if you're into business, you sell product or services, you get money for that. And then there's a limit to the amount of money collectively we all can own.
Yeah.
Because the central bank of the various countries determine how much is in circulation, how much is out there. They think there's too much. They mop up some of it
Yeah.
using different instruments and things like that.
Yeah.
So for crypto, how do you get cryptocurrency? Who determines how much is in circulation? Who determines how much we can all get? And who can get it? I mean, when they can get it or
Yeah.
how they get it?
Okay, so that's a very beautiful question. So with cryptocurrency, especially with Bitcoin, I'll always use Bitcoin as a reference, right? Because that's what I'll call like the mother of all currencies, right? That was what sparked the curiosity, and we started having alternative currencies like the Solana and the rest of them. So the initial creation of the Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin has 22 million in circulation, right? And
How many?
22 million Bitcoins in circulation, and then a million that is stocked, and then they have 21 million currently circulating, right? So this is what it is. So inflation, right? I think I'll start from the explanation of inflation. So for you to see what happens, right, in the Bitcoin, when it gets to Bitcoin. So inflation is when artificial money is being pumped in. So you see government printing money. For an example, in 2020, where there were not, enough of economical activities happening, so people were lacking money, people were not going to their jobs, and then they needed, relief fund. So, as usual, the US, because of, the US currency is what they use all over the world, right? Is mostly, the petrodollar is being hedged, against what they do. So whatever affects the US economy directly or indirectly affects the rest of the world. So they tend to print this money, impute it into the system, and then you have a lot of money and less value. So at some point, this money being made needs to be directly proportional to the value. So that is why if the value is less, the value of the money then drops to the value that is currently in circulation. Right. So that is where you get inflation. And inflation happens where there's an artificial pump into the economy without enough of value. Right. So would that being the case, the creator of Bitcoin had it in mind that the government or whoever is in power of creating this money or printing this money can easily just pump in money with an order, like, oh, create $1 trillion worth of USD, and then it happened, right? So that was why he came with the idea of, okay, what if this money is being has like a limited amount in circulation? So every other person working for it is working for the total good of it, right? Rather than one person printing it somewhere, having it. For example, now let's say I don't want to get so political, but there's actually a period of time where you'd see these politicians moving money in bullion vans, right? And I don't want to get so particular, but
No.
you must have heard about
I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but
yeah,
go on.
yeah. So in a case like that, when you have this money being pumped in, taken from the central bank and then being pumped into the society, you see people making money and giving less of value. And at the same time, you see inflation, right? But then with Bitcoin, what happens is there's a limited supply of it. So you need to work for it. So there's what they call proof of work, right? So it's basically like a very technical system. And if I start going very technical, people won't actually, get the idea of it. But the idea is you work for what you get. So you don't just artificially get it. You don't print it out of anywhere. So you work for it. So there's what they call Bitcoin miners. So you get to solve mathematical algorithms. You get to like solve mathematical, problems. And in the same time, this system rewards you with Bitcoin. That is why you see people having ants miners and they are, like minting this, these Bitcoins, right? They are mining them. So you see companies buying off of them, like centralized exchanges like Coinbase, right? So just like every other currency, you buy it. Either you're giving value to get it in return, because that is what the exchange means, right? I have something valuable, you have the money. So give me what is valuable and take my money, right? So that is basically how the Bitcoin works. So it works in a limited, kind of supply where you don't just get rewarded for doing nothing. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah. So there's a trust cover over it, right? Which is the cryptography, because the cryptography is an algorithm of mathematical, computations where you can't cheat the system, right? And it is decentralized. So one person can't just make the just say what it is and then it happens. And that's also one of the reasons why the person or the group of persons that I think created the currency stayed anonymous, right? Till today, we don't know who is Satoshi Nakamoto. Why? Because I strongly believe that if they can find this person, they'll look for a way to manipulate, the currency. So the cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, which is, the bone of contention around what I'm saying, because every other coin can be manipulated because they know the owners of this person. So creating frameworks around this thing, you can look for a way to inflate those currencies, pump and dump them, just like what we've seen happen in real time. Like you said initially during the introduction, scams, right? So it is there to, give some sort of security and financial, I'll just say financial security and the future of money.
That takes us to, I think, another significant part of this conversation for me.
Yeah.
In your experience,
Yeah.
what are the biggest misunderstandings people have about cryptocurrency?
Good. Make money, get rich quick money, right? So they left the fact that you need to be vulnerable to make money. So they have it in mind that, oh, since it goes up and comes down, once I buy it, I'll give it like a little time, then I have money. No, this is something that was created to become your future. So just like how money evolved, the level that we're at now was not where we were in the year 2000. So the year 2000, we still had it in mind that before we could use any money, we need to go to the bank, get the cash, and maybe distribute it how we wanted to distribute it. And then the ATMs came, we figured out that, oh, we can't just go into the bank and get money. We can stand in front of the machine. And eventually the money became digital, right? So where the banks, instead of them giving you notes, they just give you like a system of numbers on a dashboard where you can just move it around. And then it then moved because the bank can still manipulate these currencies and then create inflated numbers. That is how hacks happen. You see people pumping up numbers and then moving the pumped up numbers, right? So people think cryptocurrency is a way they can get rich quick, which is not what it is. So for me, I see it as the future of money. I see it as money without borders. I see it as me being one with the person in China. Hence, I have the same value that he has, right? I see it as um, I see it as freedom. I even had a podcast that I did with my business show called Cryptocurrency as Freedom, right? So yeah, so that is how I see freedom. That's how I see crypto. So the initial misconception around which a lot of persons have, if they hear crypto, they see it as an investment.
So, is it an investment or is it something bigger than that?
It's way, way bigger than that.
Well, you have people who go on several channels prior to now, or not long ago, too long ago, it used to be conventional or traditional media, and they're advertising, seminars, business meetings that can teach you how to, as they call it, trade in crypto. We can teach you this, teach you that to become a billionaire. Are you saying that it's not an investment?
No, it is not. So now, just like cryptocurrencies is like gold.
It's a currency, right?
Yeah, it is
So
a digital currency.
exactly. So if people can change trade in forex,
Mhm.
which is short for foreign exchange, and this foreign exchange is our currency, and that is a business. People invest in that
Yeah,
amount.
yeah.
So if people can do that with traditional currencies, why can't you invest in crypto? Why is crypto different?
Okay, that's a very beautiful question. It is not like it is different, right? Because I mean, it is a currency, and even the people who do this foreign exchange, they do it digitally, so they don't even have to get the physical, currencies. But just to adjust the frame, right? Um, why I say it is not an investment, right? It's because of it is very volatile, right? And so the volatile the need of it could be up and down, right? So investments for some persons do short term and long term, right? And most persons, when they get into it, they just want the money quick, and that is not what it is. So for me, I see it as an exchange in value. Although people can sit and trade it, just like every other currency, right? You can sit, trade crypto. There are like lots of them. I do it a lot. So there's what they call degenerate trading. They call it printing of money. You can basically just print money, right? But then it is not an efficient strategy to see Bitcoin as an investment because it's way beyond that. Bitcoin is actually, like your future. That is how I see it. That is what I call it. Cryptocurrencies are basically our future because in time we see how the money evolve. So you need to follow how it's being made and how it's being done. So if you are looking at it from a perspective of investments, you are just leaving a lot of money on the table, right? Because for me, this is a way at which the door gets open for us to get into the global, scene and play on a global level. So if you're looking at it from just an investment level, it is just a 1% of it. So if it even goes beyond just the money side of it, right? If we say crypto, we're just looking um we're just looking at the very, very small portion of what it could be or what it is, right? So that is why I say if we have like the right mindset towards it and just go beyond seeing it as a way to make money, we then see the possibilities that comes with it. Cryptocurrency is like it is trust. It is a way to make us better humans. How? Because now the trust is in you and I, not in the third party that is the government, right? So because with a traditional bank, the trust that we have that the naira that we are giving to you, even still upon that, people create fake notes, right? But the trust that I have in taking this naira that I'm giving to you is at the end of the day, you take it to the bank which governs a particular region, and then the bank says this money that you've given to us to keep is valid. So the value you give to this person and the value this person has given to you is valid, right? So if you look at it beyond money, you'd see it as, oh, this is a way that I can actually, get to work with someone in China. This is a way I can get to work with someone in Europe without being bothered that will this person actually accepts my, local, currency and the rest of them. So for me, I think is a means of globalization rather than just an investment. Yes, although it goes up and down, which is up and down in value, just like I had mentioned earlier, right? But then the going up and down in value is people actually using it, moving money, making transactions, right? So that is why it goes up and then it comes down, right? So if you're just living in stagnant, so that would mean it is not moving, it is just stagnant. So instead of you to look at it as an investment that you just lock down and keep somewhere or, trade on its volatility, which people do, you can also see it as a way that opens much more ways for you. That is generally how I see it.
We're going to move on to other parts of this, but finally and very quickly, still on the issue of how the biggest misunderstandings people have about it, especially in the Nigerian space.
Yeah.
You mentioned crypto. People hear a person talk about crypto, or even security agencies.
Yeah.
Maybe while in questioning a young boy or young lady these days, hear use the word crypto, or find some crypto app or wallet on their phone, and immediately think, "Oh, this is a thief,
Fraudster.
this is a scammer, this is a fraudster."
Yeah.
Does crypto automatically mean? Is it synonymous with fraud?
Not at all. So it doesn't directly mean fraud, but the kind of PR it has gotten, right? It has actually gotten bad PR. So that is why people, because it's untraceable. So just like you have good actors and bad actors, and just like when you have a tool, like we were discussing initially. So this tool that you're getting, what are you making of it? Right? Are you using it for the good or using it for the bad? So most persons, they fall for rock pool scams. Right. So now I mean rock pool scams. Someone will just come, just like I had said, create, like a centralized kind of cryptocurrency that is being controlled by one person that has access to remove it or add into it, and then the market goes up and then they take it out. So that alone has given crypto like a very bad name. And then people who, because of its untraceable, people use it for, um, funding of, terrorism and the rest of them. So that is why it has gotten a very, very bad PR, but it is not synonymous to crime. It is not synonymous to, being a criminal, right? This is something that was created for liberation. You understand? So that is how I see it. So the thing is, most persons who use it, or most of the people who they've seen, because for example, now if let's say you're talking about something and then 50% of the person you say that this is what they do or this is what it is, it becomes true. What you have at the back of your mind is this is what it is. So if most persons are saying, oh, this particular company, if you go there, you lose money, you lose money, you lose money, and then you go there and then eventually lose money, what you have in your mind, even if they're having like a bad season, right? What you have in your mind is, oh, this is a scam. So I need to like stay clear of it or something. But if you get to understand what it is, just like how people, again, trade stocks, a company is having a bad session. Let's say, oh, yeah, they have nothing to return to you like an investor, right? What you have in your mind is, this is a bad company. I need to stay clear of it. So instead of you to like get to understand what is actually happening, how do they make their money, right? So how do they keep the cash flowing? What are the frameworks around this company to keep them going? If they're having a bad year today, would they still have it tomorrow? I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's the same thing for cryptocurrencies. So instead of generalizing because of you've heard people have lost money. Yes, people do lose money. You lose money a lot, right? But that's what I said. It is way beyond the money. So if you look at it way beyond the money, you wouldn't see it synonymous to scams.
Why is crypto growing such ground quickly in Nigeria? I remember I used to be on radio for a long period of time in Port Harcourt here. And I remember some years ago, seemed just like yesterday,
Yeah.
when you had lots of persons coming to, for paid announcements or paid interviews, talk about crypto and inviting people, come for seminars, come for this, come for that. But they're almost everywhere these days.
Yeah.
Why has it gained so much ground and so quickly in Nigeria?
Good. So as a business person, I'll tell a story from my business perspective around how I think crypto gained such ground, right? So in a country like ours, where we have restrictions, we have lots of restrictions around our currencies. Like it got so crazy at some point, you can't spend more than $300 on your card internationally. You can't make transfers more than a particular amount. So imagine I'm a businessman now that has to import 10 containers every other week or every other month, right? And I'm limited to just sending abroad $3,000. What does that leave me? It leaves me with leaving a lot of money on the table. So even if I'm trying to like get USD from the bank, it takes like almost 2 weeks for me to, get an approval to get my money to move, right? So in the business side of things, it became so restrictive. So people were looking for a way out. So how does crypto help, right? I'm talking about how crypto helped us to get enough, to get, how viral it has been now, because this is basically, what has helped people, broken through. So with the help of stable coins, right? So I could remember 2020, 2021, I am my elder brother. So my late elder brother, his rest in peace, was
Evan?
he sells style sanitary wares, right? So at some point, they were, because of their restrictions then around the money, there were no economy activities happening or low economies happening. So there were not enough cash to like make these payments. So I told my brother, why don't you tell your union chairman that I can help him make his payments in China using like what I use. I can help him do it. And then this is actually going to happen in less than 30 minutes. He said, because I mean, he knew what cryptocurrency was. He said, that's a good idea. Let me go and approach them. So these are people that, combinedly, they import 3 different containers in like 2 weeks because they have distributors, right? So they were finding it difficult to like make the payments then. And I went to meet and I'm like, Chairman, see, I can make this $80,000 for you. I can make the payment of like $80,000 for you. And then the person there will receive it in less than 30 minutes. And a process that normally takes him like 2 weeks. He said he didn't believe at first because he was saying, bro, you go do magic. And that is like I know for sure, technology is like the closest thing to magic, right? So I said, okay, watch me do it, right? So initially he couldn't trust me with his money because I mean, that was the first time. So I did not blame him. So I ragged around and then got the amount of money, asked him the account of the person he wants to send it in China. So I sent my agent cryptocurrency in China. The person has, yuan. He has RMB, that's what they call it, right? So I sent the USD to him and then he sent the equivalent to his agent. Instantly, it was settled, like instant settlement, right? So the guy was surprised. He was like, bro, how you do this thing? Because on the normal, it takes me like 2 weeks to get this whole process done just for payment. And then I start waiting for my goods. So I'm like, that is where technology has taken us now. It has made everything like really, really fast. And ever since then, this person believed, right, that I can use this thing. Ever since then, he has been calling me. To some point, I had to build like a product for him so he could be doing these things and paying, this client off of the comfort of his home without even moving, going any place. So now, what I'm saying is, it has made, the economic activities of being in Nigeria easy. So now you can be in Nigeria and then work with someone in the UK. Initially, that was a problem. That was a problem for me personally. That was even how I even got to find out about Bitcoin. So initially, I was in a forum in Facebook that does graphic exchange. Like this is like a group of graphic designers that post their works and then say, oh, if you need a graphic designer, contact me, right? So I had some persons then overseas that needed my work because I'm not a graphic designer, but I have friends who design graphics. So basically, I do what's the word? Arbitrage, right? It's not arbitrage. That's not arbitrage. What was that? What's the word? Yo, I've forgotten the word.
You're like a middleman.
Yeah, I'm like a middleman, right? I get these people who do these things and then I sell it. So at the end of the day, the problem is, how do I receive payments? Because I mean, paper was banned in Nigeria at then, so you couldn't, paper that they were using, there were no way to connect the currency back to getting naira. And that's why I said to Bitcoin, it is freedom. To cryptocurrency is like a means of freedom, right? So what happened? Me as a freelancer then, I got the way of using Bitcoin to take payment from this person. So I wasn't bothered about, would the CBN accept the USD that I'm sending or something? No, it didn't matter because it was, like I said, a peer-to-peer exchange of value. I had graphics to give to them and they had Bitcoin to give to me. So when that happened, it made it like a lot more easier for people to move money around using stable coins and the rest of them. So that helps. And every Nigerian now, they're looking for like a way out. So imagine now I come to you like this update and tell you that this is what can be done, right? Won't you hop on it, right? So it became like an easier means out when it comes to, finances, right? So people hopped on it very, very fast. Like you don't even need to, convince them a lot.
It is Canvas and Niger-Delta Roundtable. We're discussing crypto and currency with Chinonso. So we'll go for a quick break. We'll return in a moment. The conversation will continue. Please stay with us.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large.
Energy for people and planet. For people and planet. Energy for people and planet.
Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Welcome back. Still Canvas, the Niger-Delta Roundtable brought to you by Renaissance. I'm Dio. Crypto and currency is what we're still discussing. Chinonso is still here. Great to
Yeah.
have you again.
Thank you.
So you mentioned earlier in the first half of the conversation that people do lose money with crypto,
Yeah.
like they do with every other thing in life.
Yeah.
I remember I think the ad is still on TV. Some fellow talking about his wonderful experience with some bank, and he trades in cocoa, and he described how there was a period that he lost a lot of money trading cocoa.
Yeah.
So if you can lose money trading cocoa, trading whatever it is, I mean, people lose money doing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Or you can lose money trading anything, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
However, there are still pitfalls to look out for.
Mhm.
There are steps you can take to not lose money or lose
Yeah.
as much money.
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when entering into crypto?
So I'll try to keep it as very short. So there's this concept that I use, trust but verify, right? So for Bitcoin is just there, right? The security frameworks and boundaries are there, right? But then for all these other currencies that spring up, you'd see something like FTX, an exchange, like that fell. They had this very crazy infrastructure where they use investors' money to pay other investors. So it was more like a pyramid scheme, right? So someone who wants to, get to buy those tokens, because those tokens are basically the stocks of those businesses. So you need to understand what the business is doing, right? If they have like a solid foundation and a solid factor or a solid, business model, right? Or what they intend doing generally, or what their utility is. So you need to verify what that is, because if you don't verify, you might just get into people who are using the initial investors, like initial investors' money or the first investors' money or the later investors' money to pay the initial persons that were there, rather. You understand? So that is the most problem that we face in this, cryptocurrency space. You need to really, really, understand what you are getting into. Verify these companies. Look at the founders. Look at what they've done. Look at what they are doing. Do they have, bad records around, financial issues and the rest of them? So that is one of the ways you stay safe. So just verify. Know what the business is about. Just like how you want to invest in stock, you get to read about the company. Know about their vision. Know what their mission is. As simple as that. So once you have those things in place, you see that there are no red flags, you can just, go ahead and have a portion of it.
Okay, fine. So, but how do I protect myself? It's like I have money. Say I have money in my bank account.
Yeah.
In my local bank account. I
Yeah.
had money there. Even if I'm not doing something with the money,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not buying anything. I could
Yeah.
still lose the money. People experience that all the time.
Yeah.
How someone was able to access their account and
Yeah.
pull money, things like that. So, with crypto, I believe it's different. The rules are slightly different, somewhat. I'm sure there are similarities, anyways.
Yeah.
But how can a person protect themselves, make sure they don't lose even that which they have when they're not doing anything with it?
Yeah. So beautiful question, Stu. Just like I said, the FTX people, right? So FTX is like an exchange where you can go buy cryptocurrency and keep it there. So the platform fell and every investor's money fell, right? And that is not the first. You have Luna. So these are like platforms that have fallen, right? So one of the things that I tell people is, if you want to save cryptocurrency, what I advocate for people to buy and keep most of the times is Bitcoin. And one of the ways to keep Bitcoin is by having, a self-custody wallet where you are the person in charge and you own your private keys. Because if you own your private keys, these are like terms that I'm supposed to, get into deep and talk about. Well, I'll just go to the surface. So when you own your private keys, you own this money, right? No other person has access to it. This is your money. So whatever happens, you make sure you keep your private keys safe, because whoever has your private keys, just like who has your login in your bank account and they have like a transaction pin, so they can make this transaction on your behalf. And most of these transactions are not traceable. So once they are gone, they are gone. So one of the ways you can do that, like I said, this is number one and paramount, right? Because you can do whatever you want to do once you're not in charge of your private keys, if your platform closes, your money closes with it, right? So that is why, like I said, crypto is decentralized, right? So I can have my money, the platform falls, I move my money using the private keys into another platform, and I still have my money complete. So yeah, having like a self-custodial wallet is key. That's like number one before you think about any other thing.
You're not keen on crypto being an investment. You made that clear earlier on. You
Yeah.
say it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's more than investment. So even though some people do invest or trade, but for you, it's bigger than that. So beyond trading, what opportunities, what is it that's more than that in crypto that a person can avail themselves of?
There's a lot. There's a lot. So when it comes to the currency part of it, like I said, the currency part of it is just the economical side of it, because that is where you exchange value. So if we're looking, the cryptocurrency is just like 1% of the technology used in building the cryptocurrency. So the cryptocurrency is built on a blockchain network, right? And then the blockchain network basically gives you end-to-end protection, encryption using cryptography, right? So it goes beyond it. After crypto, we had things like NFTs, non-fungible tokens, right? That were still of the same nature, but had like a different body, right? So most persons, as usual, they tend to see the things on the blockchain just as an easy way to make money, which is not what it is, right? So if you look at it from a particular angle, cryptocurrencies or these blockchain technologies, these are like the things made to make our life easier, to like remove the third party trust, which we are putting in the hands of the persons that can, I don't know if I can use profanity, over, do wrong to us. So now it is around how can the both of us, be better humans and make good use of what we have without having a third party snoop into what we are doing, just like you said in the very beginning, where they listen to what you are doing. Because if the people, they have control over your finances, they have control over you, like I always say. So it goes beyond, looking at it from the money aspect. The money aspect is just like a 1% of it, because it goes into banks now use it in protecting their systems. Banks have even started creating stablecoin rails where they are not just fixed on the naira and the rest of them. So they are creating ways where someone in the diaspora can basically use their system, make quick switches in currencies rather than wait for like 2 weeks. They can make these swaps in like a split second, right? So that is basically what it is. So it goes beyond investments. This can have proper utility cases or use cases for beyond investments, right? It can even be for health, right? These are like safeguarding informations and making sure these informations are not spread using misinformations. I don't know if you understand, where it is called the single source of truth, where if you go deep into the rabbit hole, you'd see like it's signed and an original version of it, right? Where the information is just true. Because I actually do not want to start going.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. So, for you say the crypto technology, block AI,
Yeah.
or
Blockchain.
part,
Yeah.
right? Blockchain, crypto itself is just a 1%. So
Yeah.
your organization of
Cupid Technologies.
exactly. You're in that space.
Yeah.
What do you do there? You have some products. You have some things you're doing.
Yeah.
For the general public. What's that?
Yeah. So Cupid Technologies, we are a software development company using AI-powered solutions to make the life of Africans better. And one of the products we've built that we are actually still working on is Block AI, right? So just like I've said, it goes beyond money, but this is around money. So we are looking at a way to integrate blockchain, which gives security around currencies or around initial rules being guided, and using AI, so which is artificial intelligence, right? So the concept is using the knowledge, the artificial knowledge of an already made system, which is AI, and then implement it with the financial world, right? So we are making predictions off of the artificial knowledge that this AI has, and then using it to predict what a particular currency would do, or something around the currencies, right? So at the end of the day, the knowledge which you don't have, because one of the issues that I believe with Africans have, we don't have lots of information. So the AI is there to, give us the artificial information or artificial intelligence for us to, act like we have this information, then it acts for us, and then we then get the results. So it is more like creating a tool that will enable, the next generations of Africa, create wealth without getting to understand the JP Morgan level of finance, right? So we made it, very simple and conversational on WhatsApp, where you tend to, just ask the bot, right? As simple as, what can I buy today, or what stocks can I buy today? And then it gives you what is happening in the world, and what is happening in the world is affecting, the stocks that you're going to buy. So possibly in like 5 years, you should be looking into getting this. In 3 years, you'll be looking into getting this. I don't know if that makes sense. So it saves you time from scavenging through the internet to get accurate data to make a purchase that will enable you create wealth.
What do you call that tool?
So
What do you call it?
it's Block AI.
Block AI.
Yeah.
Is it a free tool?
Actually, for now, it is free.
So that means that the users, and I'm using your exact words earlier
Yeah.
when we started it. So that means the users of this free tool are the product.
Exactly. So we are using them to train the product,
Oh,
right? So when we get to understand how you spend money, so the AI understands it, right? It understands, oh, this person is someone that transfers, like 5,000 naira every Friday, and it's transferring this 5,000 naira to this person, right? So at the end of the day, if the AI, the artificial intelligence, uses the algorithm to understand how you spend money, and then you ask those questions, maybe the next question you ask is, how can I save 1,000,000 naira in 5 years, or in 5 months, rather? So it tells you, instead of sending this 5,000 naira, possibly you're using this 5,000 naira to go to a joint to drink coffee or something. It is then going to use this 5,000 naira that it has the knowledge that you spend on, to tell you that you can keep 2,000 naira for this, you can keep 1,000 naira for this, you can buy this with this, you can buy that with that. And then at the end of the day, it is then going to show you the end, just like how you text ChatGPT. So it gives everything that you need to do, and then tells you how it's going to be by the end. Normally, it's not how it ends, but it is closer to how it ends. Hence, you follow, the very good instructions that it gives you.
all right. So how can young Nigerians engage with crypto responsibly?
So engage in it. Are you talking about the use case of it, or how do you mean engage? You just get to use it.
Every possible case. How can they engage with it responsibly?
It's intention. I tell you again, because this is just a technology. It is just a tool that has been given to you, right? So how you use it is then left for you. So are you using it to make your freelance job easy, or are you using it to look for a way to steal from people? Because like I said initially, you can learn how to create these tokens. It is not difficult. The information is there on the internet, right? So the idea is, are you using it to create this currency that at the end of the day you rock pull people? I don't know if that makes sense. So it's just your intention. It's your personal intention. What do you want to do with it? Just like every other technology. As we were speaking about earlier, it is just a knife. It is just a tool. So this is a tool that has been given to you through your knowledge of understanding it. So what then you do after that is what matters. So if you have like a good intention towards it, you get to do good with it. But then if you have a malicious intention with it, you get to do malicious things.
This question has to do with school of thought. I
Yeah.
mean, there are those who say that, it's too volatile. There needs to be some control.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that there are conversations in different parts of the world about some regulation
Yeah.
when it comes to central banks are having discussions about it, and all of that. What is your thinking? Should, maybe futuristically, should there be some regulation or control when it comes to crypto, or should it be, pardon, the expression, free range as it is right now?
So these bodies coming into it, they are coming into it to, to reduce the risk that comes with it, right? Because they've understood that this is not what can be ignored, because Bitcoin was ignored for years, right? I think it was just like 4, 5, 6 years ago that they started, trying to create frameworks, doing sandboxes so people can test the ideas that they have around cryptocurrencies, right? So at some point, still, like I had said, it is the intentions of the people who use it, right? So this person's crypto at some point has even created the way, like we were talking about, like the 6616, where you just have to have your money in just a number. Like I said initially, this is the use case of it, right? What do you intend to use with it? So if the government comes and then they tell you that, oh, we have like this framework around it, you can't use it to do this, you can't use it to do that, there's no difference with it and the local currency, right? So they can easily come, just like how you go to Cotonou and then they don't accept Naira, right? Because of how it is. But if it is much more open, like you said, a free range, this can be done with your intention to make these transactions better without even involving the trust party that we just talked about.
Can it coexist with traditional forms of financial systems?
Yes, it can, but at some point, the traditional is going to fall off.
Really?
Yeah. So now let me give an instance using what we have playing in the current Nigerian situation. So we have traditional banks and we have fintechs, right? So now with the traditional bank, the market woman knows that before she can have access to her money, she needs to walk into the bank or do something or lay a complaint or some stuff, right? But then with the fintechs, which just created a system of money, right, and then created guardrails to protect the money, right? You can put in a ticket and then it gets solved in less than, like 5-10 minutes, right? Because this is like a system that has been built. So the bank can actually not compete with it because these fintechs are moving at a very, very fast pace.
So those banks now have apps as well.
They do have apps, but how far can they meet up with people like OP? I don't know if you understand me. They can't because of, not like they can't, they're adapting now because initially they just saw this as something that might come and go because the people have initial trust in the brick and mortar. But we've moved past that. And that is how Bitcoin or that is how cryptocurrency is going to be with like traditional finance. People are going to understand that I call cryptocurrency a means to shapeshift your currency because it can move from USD to like RMB in like 1 second. I don't know if that makes sense. So can the traditional finance keep up with that? Can they enable me have my USD without actually having lots of friction? So if that is not the case, if I still have to wait for like a week before I can have like an amount of like $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, I would actually look for something that is much more efficient, which is why you said initially the much more persons are moving into cryptocurrencies because they've seen the freedom that comes with it. They've seen the ease. They've seen the convenience.
What do you see crypto the next 10 years?
Very far. I see it, although it has even gotten very far, right? But I see it further than where it is now. I see even the woman in the market using cryptocurrency because now, like I'm just trying to avoid this phrase, but you can't talk cryptocurrency without talking about these things that I'm actually trying to talk about. But I see crypto in 5 years, a market woman, just as she has like a POS machine, she has like a machine where someone can just use an NFC device to scan the cryptocurrency. She collects some money and then she gets settled in the local currency that she can use in her day-to-day activities. I see it as schools accepting it. Possibly you're going to your school kiosk to buy it, just like how we use Naira, right? In some schools, most persons haven't even touched Naira in a very long time. I myself, the only reason I touch Naira is because I need to have, tips in my bag, right? Just in case I want to give someone 1,000 so that I'm not just opening my bank app unnecessarily, right? On the normal, it's just tap, 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 send, tap, tap, send. The money is just going. And that is basically what crypto is. That's what basically digital payments is. And like I said, crypto is just, like a means of making these payments digitally. So in 5 years, I see the extinction of money, right? I see since they're not having CBDCs, how you talked about government having, guardrails, I see automatic debits of taxes. I see automatic debits of fines because of control, right? Unless we do or we stay original in getting consent as to why we are doing these things, right? In the initial intention around it.
Maybe finally, what mindset should people adopt as these technologies are evolving and we're inevitably once again evolving with them and inching ever closer to doing away with the traditional or conventional means we've all been familiar with for so long. And change is a very scary thing
Yeah.
for people. Some people don't even like it at all because you don't understand it, you don't get it. It's volatile, it's not safe, some people say, because of experience of someone they know or even they had. So what mindset should everyone have with this evolving technologies and crypto and blockchain and all of that?
To be honest, you just keep it an open mind, right? Just being curious, right? Because most persons who don't get to see the good side of the cryptocurrencies and who are shut off about it, they just initially had like a bad experience the first time they tried it. And they'll be like, whenever you talk about crypto, you'll be like, no, don't involve me in such, right? So I believe it's getting to understand it better. Just like I always say, in understanding anything, you need to understand the foundations. And the foundations of crypto is very, very deep because it was built on a solution that has been a problem, right? So you just need to be curious and willing to dig into the rabbit hole because you can't understand it you can't understand what it holds in 5 years on just the surface level. That's why whenever I'm talking, it's like I'm just explaining and then trying to like scatter and go very, very, very deep, right? So you just need to learn, ask questions, right? Understand the pros and the cons of it, right? You just need to be open-minded. You just need to understand the technology behind it. You just need to understand what it is. Because if you don't know what it is, you're going to be very, very skeptical about it and you won't even know how to tread around it. But if you know what it is from the very onset, from the very foundation, then you can find your way through. I tell you, from previous question you asked me where I see Bitcoin in like 5 years, I see it as people not even having bank accounts anymore. I see it as people even creating their own wallets, right? So, and you can't get to that level if you don't ask these questions, if you're not curious, because else you're going to be lost. And then you start depending on a centralized exchange who still have control over your money. Because how the world is going now, you can see how people are fighting for control. The new world order is like trying to, push in. And these are means that are going to be put in place for this world order to have shape. So you need to protect yourself, right? Even if it doesn't happen in your lifetime, you need to have enough knowledge, even if not a lot of knowledge, but at least the foundational knowledge to pass on to your kids, to pass on to the people that you know in preparation of the world that is to come, because this is something we can't escape, right? So being ignorant around it does not make you a saint or does not make you, someone special, right? It makes you someone just ignorant around technologies or around improvement that is happening around this environment, right? So my best answer to it is get curious, be open-minded, ask questions, try things out, right? Because AI has even made it easier, learn how to protect yourself, right? Learn how to, create security measures around, what it is. So that is what I believe, you understand? That's what I believe is the proper mindset to take and not just take closed off of it, because whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. Right? Whether I like it or not, it's going to boom. People who are or who were scared of buying crypto in 2010, there are the people now asking you, bro, what's up? What can I buy? Right? I've seen that this thing is not something I can ignore. What can I do? But then when you were telling them as at then, they'll be like, bro, I don't want to hear this one. This one now not really concern me. So if they were open-minded enough then, they would have at least gotten to a point where they are not at the moment. So even if they are not like 100% into it now, they must have been 20%. So if you're starting off from 20%, rather than starting off from zero, that is how I see it.
Thanks, Chinonso. And that's a wrap for this episode of Canvas and Niger-Delta Roundtable, crypto and currency. It's a lot, I know. And if you're listening or watching this right now, and maybe you've never really heard much or thought much about crypto, this episode has probably raised more questions than answers for you. I think that's a good thing. Do some research on your own, find out, ask questions, use AI. It's on your phone right now, and
Use
wish you the
block.
best. Use block AI.
Yeah.
No. I'm not going to do any advocacy for him. But
actually, one last thing I would like to say is we actually need to get serious around, understanding the powers of blockchain and AI. Why? Because the world has gotten far, far ahead. And where we are at the moment, we are just basically starting from a minus place. Like we've gotten lower than zero, right? So I would urge everyone out there, understand the foundations of AI, understand the foundations of blockchain, and how these various technologies can impact the society. So it goes beyond making money. It goes as far as making yourself safe. You understand? Making yourself equipped for the world that is to come. Why? Because the world that is to come goes beyond what you do. It is now much about how you see the world, right? It's now much about the things you can do to impact the world, right? So if the things you do on your day-to-day is just to make money, I told you, AI is coming, is actually going to have a chunk of what you do. So we need to like start living purposefully. We need to like start looking at how these various technologies can help us live a purposeful life, right? And again, it goes beyond making money and more about how you impact the society. That's all I have to say.
thanks, Nonso. It's been a pleasure having you on Canvas.
Mr. Diane.
Great having you here. That's it. Crypto and currency has been this topic for this episode of Canvas and Niger-Delta Roundtable. Remember to enlighten yourself as best you can. I'm Dial Shakin, and bye for now.